Okay, good morning everyone. Thank you for attending to my talk. I will show you how we can impersonate Exchange with a free software stack. So we'll use only free software, but all your devices will see something that is completely similar to Exchange in terms of protocols. So to introduce myself, my name is Thomas. I'm working on free software since 2001. I'm acting as a BlueMind CTO, and we made a lot of messaging projects. Before working for BlueMind, for example, we did the complete messaging solution for the French Assembly. We are working for a lot of French ministries, like Ministry of Defense, where we are supporting all the user mailboxes. So I guess we're pretty experienced with messaging software. And of course, I'm French, so if my English is not always very good, I'm sorry. So what we do at BlueMind? BlueMind is a collaboration suite. So we do email and calendar servers, so which is pretty similar with what you saw with George. Of course, BlueMind can replace Exchange. It provides web interfaces for email, for calendar, for contacts, of course for instant messaging. We are based on all the standard protocols. So you will find SMTP for sending, POP and IMAP for receiving your emails, CalDAV and CardDAV to support everything in the Mac world. So this is on the open protocol front. Of course, we are talking ActiveSync. We've got our own implementation of ActiveSync, a Java-based implementation, and we use a custom REST protocol for Outlook, for calendar and contact synchronization. So as a company, we are a pure software editor. We don't do services or projects. The company was created in 2010. And we released our first version of the product in 2012. We only do indirect sales, so we go through partner channels to sell our software, and BlueMind is the only thing we do. The name of the company is also the name of the software. So the team is mostly research and development with 12 developers, one full-time dedicated to documentation, because I guess it's very, very important to have a good documentation for your open product. We cannot say to our users, well, you have the source code, so you can guess how it works. No, we have a complete documentation for everything. The 8 founders were doing big software, big messaging projects in the previous life. So we are quite, even if the company is young, we are quite experienced with messaging solutions. We have 4 pre-sales, and the first person we hired was our channel partner manager, because we wanted to focus only on the product and not doing services. So, okay, I talk about open protocol. We do SMTP, IMAP, POP, CalDAV. Okay, this is the easy part. What is difficult to support? Our users have Outlook. They like it, they love it, they want to keep it. So you have to connect their Outlook to your open source server. So in Outlook you have 3 options. The Microsoft Exchange server. Obviously we are not a Microsoft Exchange server, so we'll have a look at the 2 other options. The other one is the ActiveSync protocol. Okay, we could do that. We support ActiveSync, as I told you, but the protocol is limited. ActiveSync doesn't support sharing of data. So you only see your personal data. It will work if I connect Outlook through ActiveSync to a BlueMind server, but I will only see my emails. I won't see other users' calendars. I can't share contacts, so you're not really collaborating. It's a one-user solution if you do ActiveSync. So the only way we have right now is to connect to POP and IMAP. You would think it would work correctly, that the support would be good, but it's not really top level. This is not the protocol Outlook is supposed to talk. Outlook is really an Exchange client. It's not really not the best at doing IMAP. So let's see what is problematic with Outlook when it does IMAP. With the version 2010, you can choose what your default folders are. My send folder is there, my draft folder is over there, and you can pick and decide where it is. This support was removed from Outlook 2013. This is really problematic because in the IMAP protocol, there is no notion of what you would call a display name. So if the folder is named sent on the server, in Outlook it will appear as sent. So this is problematic as we have a lot of French users and they don't want to see the English names of the folder on the server. And Outlook has absolutely no way to translate the names of the folders. So this is pretty difficult for us. Outlook has a specific way to do IMAP. Thunderbird does IMAP pretty correctly, but Outlook has had some teeny things that no other IMAP client does. For example, it uses a specificity of the IMAP protocol. It uses chain commands. It will send 2 commands at the same time to the server and expects them to be executed in the correct order, with the response being correct. So only Outlook does that. And when you're coding the server side, this is pretty difficult to support. It also has problem with long folder names. When you have accents and very long folder names, Outlook will send them to the server in a pretty unique way. So I won't delve into how this really works, but the way Outlook does it is different from the others. And as I said, we can't use ActiveSync because it is limited to personal folders. So how do we manage that? So we introduce an IMAP proxy because we wanted to tune the response we do to Outlook. So Outlook receives exactly what he expects. So the first thing we have to do is to identify Outlook. When Outlook connects to an IMAP server, it does not say, "Hello, I'm Outlook." No. The Outlook, the commands in IMAP uses a tag. So you have this little code, the AF3C, which precedes the command, and Outlook is the only one using 4 letters. So that's how we identify Outlook and enable our specific support of commands. Thanks to our IMAP proxy, we can rename the folders. So the proxy is doing on-the-fly translation. It intercepts the command, for example, when the client say select sent to open the sent folder, our proxy will intercept that, translate it to the real name of the folder on the server, and return the response correctly. We also added fixes to the XList command. The XList command is when the Outlook asks to the server, what are the folders available on the server? And the Cyrus IMAP server we use has a broken response on this command. What will Outlook do when he talks to Cyrus? All your folders won't be on the server. There will be only local folders. This was fixed recently on Cyrus, which is cool, but it's really a pain in the ass when you realize that all your folders are not on the server, but were only on the client. The problem for us is we can't fix everything on the server side. There are some problems where we can't do anything. For example, you shut down Outlook, you rename a folder on the server, you open Outlook again, and Outlook will re-upload the old folder to the server. Because the protocol, well, it's a limitation of the protocol because the protocol doesn't log that a rename happened. You can't know that a rename was done on the server. There is another problem when you have lots of read receipts. If you rename a folder that has read receipts, Outlook will resend all of them. There are also some special improvements. In IMAP, you can ask the server to copy an email. You say copy mail number 2 in folder sent, and it will do it. In Outlook 2013, they prefer to always re-upload the email. So if you copy 10 emails, your 10 emails will be re-uploaded by Outlook to the server instead of doing a server-side copy, which is a big improvement. So we tried to find a better solution. In 2012, we started evaluating OpenChange. OpenChange is a Mapi server implementation done by the guys at Zential, and this looked pretty promising. So we wrote a backend using the C language. We worked on this for 1 month. We had some pretty good results. We could open Outlook, see our folders, but we stopped at that, and we started evaluating how we could complete the job. And we were not sure we can make it. What we had to implement in a Mapi backend for OpenChange was too complex for us. This is an example of the kind of function you have to implement. For example, table get available properties, and you have to return what are the Mapi properties of the object. Well, I don't know Mapi, so I don't know what could be the properties that I should return. So we weren't sure that we could finish our backend without reading the complete Mapi documentation. So it was very difficult. So we had to take a decision. We could either develop a Mapi store, which is client-side development for Outlook, so we could avoid using the IMAP protocol. Well, this is pretty problematic for us because it is C++ development on Windows platform, and most of our engineers are Java servers developers, so different kind of skills. Or we could invest 200 man days in trying to develop and improve our Mapi backend for OpenChange. So this way we would speak Mapi and impersonate Exchange. So we had to choose between those solutions. Well, we chose none of them. In 2014, we contracted with a guy at Zential, and as they have all the OpenChange core developers, and Zential did the hard work for us. They wrote a backend for OpenChange that forwards all the complex Outlook calls to as REST requests. So with our Java developers, that was pretty cool for us, dealing with a REST request and sending back JSON. We know how to do that. So we don't have to put code in OpenChange. We only have to make a REST endpoint to handle all the calls. So what we did, we wrote a REST backend to handle all the Mapi calls done to us by OpenChange. So this is based on Vertex, which is a server platform developed. It originated at VMware. It is now developed at Red Hat. And it's pretty similar to Node.js, but for Java. And this receives all the OpenChange REST call and routes them to all our other services, being for mail request or contact request, calendar request. We also implemented the AutoDiscovery protocol of Outlook, because Outlook does not only do Mapi. There is an AutoDiscover protocol, so which requires you to have several names on your server. So to support that with SSL, so your server should be named mail.mydomain and autodiscover.mydomain. So it's a special SSL setup. We created background files to recreate the complete OpenChange environment. We also wrote an endpoint for EWS. AWS stands for Exchange Web Services, while Outlook does not only do Mapi. In fact, some buttons in the interface will trigger Exchange Web Services calls and not Mapi calls. So you need to be compliant with both protocols. So this part is not done by OpenChange. We do our own AWS implementation. So we did that for the out-of-office support and for the service configuration, where Outlook asks what are the aliases, your mail aliases. What is not yet done, we don't have finished to support asynchronous notification, which is notifications going from OpenChange to Outlook to tell it to refresh a folder. Well, this infrastructure is not completely finished on the OpenChange side too, so we didn't invest time into it. But our platform already supports that, as we have events for email deliveries, contact, and event CRUD. So once everything is merged into OpenChange, we could have asynchronous notification, an instant refresh of your Outlook. What we need to make is a delivery plugin, because to OpenChange, we must send show our email as a list of Mapi properties. So to do that, we don't want to do the translation on the fly for every email. This could be a performance killer. So we will pre-compute all the Mapi properties on deliveries and pre-store all the Mapi properties. And now I'll try a very difficult exercise, because all the technologies are pretty young. So I'll try to do a live demo of what you can expect with an Outlook, an OpenChange, and a BlueMind platform. So first of all, you need to start a BlueMind backend. So as you can see, this is pretty young. We run it directly in our development environment. So this will receive the REST calls from OpenChange, the AutoDiscover calls, and the AWS calls. Then I will start OpenChange. So OpenChange will provision itself against our backend. Okay, my user was provisioned against my backend. And then the last point is Outlook. This will be quick. So I'll create a new Mapi profile. My email address. As you see, I will try to use the auto-discovery protocol, as I don't say where my server is and anything like that. So, Outlook is searching. Mm-hmm. Okay, this should already have worked. Oh. Okay, I'm sorry, the live demo exercise was a bit complicated. Okay, I'm sorry, so I won't make the demo work. I guess it's related to how the PC is connected or how the network settings are here. I'm sorry, so I will take your question earlier. Yes. Well, not yet, because the REST API exposed by OpenChange has not yet been optimized. They want to be feature complete before, so finish asynchronous notifications and stuff like that, before trying to optimize too early. Yes.
Have you identified yet which features are still missing, which ones you're waiting for?
Well, what is missing right now is the cached mode of Exchange, because right now Outlook with OpenChange only work using the online mode, where every click does a request on the OpenChange server. And the cached mode is not yet available, so it requires some more work on the OpenChange side. We expect it won't change anything to what we have to do on the REST backend side, but it's not sure yet. We're still discussing that with Julian.
I have a question.
Yes.
Have you already talked with your customers about the work you are doing with OpenChange?
Yes, we already shown that demo, the working version, at our users club, and they were pretty interested. What is not sure yet is how we will sell that. Because there are royalties question with Microsoft and implementations of those protocols. So we don't know, even if everything is open source, the protocol has patents and things like that, so we're not really sure how we will be able to sell that. So this question is still open.
But basically they appreciate, they like the solution, but they distrust, or they have...
No, they have great expectations, but as we don't know how we will distribute that with our product, because our product has no options. You pay for your subscription and everything is included. When we add a new feature, all our customers get it without adding money. So this one could be our first option.
Okay. Yeah.
So
yeah, because so far you have already solved pretty much of the problems they had with IMAP from Outlook. So there are some customers that might already be happy and they don't need the Exchange protocol.
Well, to support the calendar and contacts in Outlook, you have to write connectors, which means client-side deployment, which is complicated. Not everybody does its software deployment through Active Directory and stuff like that, so they have to go on user computers, install that stuff. It's not exactly like Outlook working with Exchange, because you can't access, for example, the out-of-office settings screen, so you have to write your own out-of-office plugin in Outlook, so new interfaces. Now the user experience is not as good as with OpenChange.
Yeah. Okay.
No more questions?
Okay. Okay, well, thank you very much.
Thank you.